Alright guys, so I'm out here with this horse. You've kind of been watching his progress. I've been doing a lot of groundwork with him with the saddle on. I've been doing the obstacles. I've been doing the stairs with him. He's been packing the saddle around. I'm just gonna check this cinch here. So this morning, man, I say this morning, and it is this morning, but it's already up into the 90s. Yesterday I was making a video and my camera shut off, just sitting out here, camera shut off, got too hot. Man, dog days of summer ain't no fun. But I'm just gonna move him around, make sure I've got the shoulders, make sure I can ask him to move forward. Needs to move forward. Trying to stay behind this drive line. There he goes. Ask him to move off. Moving forward is so important. Yielding the hips, picking that rein up, asking him for those hips, pushing those shoulders out. Good. Asking him forward. As he's going around, rub him with that flag up here. You know, it's all stuff I've done in the past. You guys have seen it, and it's all stuff that I'm going to continue to do. So today I'm going to put the first ride on him. So I'm just going to kind of check through all the work that I've done before. I am coming off of a surgery. I had a surgery not too long ago. So hopefully the first ride goes well and I don't pull any stitches or anything, because that would suck. And if I do pull stitches or get hurt, I just hope that a little bit of water and walking it off is the ticket, because in 16 days I'm going to Oklahoma and showing in the Western Dressage World Show. So let's kind of see what happens here. I'm just gonna kind of wait on him. I'm going to try to drift towards my right. He needs to bend that nose. I'm going to keep drifting to the right. He wants to keep me in the left eye, but he needs to follow that halter and that lead rope. There he goes. He puts slack in the rope. I take the slack out. It's not about me muscling him around. I'm still going to hold right here. I might put a little bit of pull on this rein just to get some life out of his feet. Good. And then I'm going to do it again, because when I first get on him, one of the things I'm going to be doing quite a bit is just simply bending him around. The same exact move, but from the saddle. And I really don't like it when their feet freeze up when I'm on top of them. Going to the left was a little bit better than going to the right, so that just tells me to do a little bit more on the right side. A little bit bracier on that right side. Oh, that's better. That's better. A lot softer, huh? Good. Double check it and triple check it. Drive his nose away. He kind of got himself into a pickle, so I can help by driving his nose away. Kind of say, go to your right. Follow this rein. There, that was better. Good boy. Always remember when you're working with your horses, when you're starting colts, when you're riding your horse, when you're riding somebody else's horse, there's only one ass at risk, and that's yours. So take the time to get that horse to a spot where you're like, yep, I think I can handle that horse. I don't care how long it takes. I might be being a little bit overly cautious on this horse, you know, just because I had that surgery and I wasn't 100%. Still not 100%, but good. I like that. Ooh, I like that a lot. But there's a time to get things done. You know, we're trainers, and we have to meet people's expectations, and we have to keep our horses progressing. So the next thing I'm going to do just before I get on is I'm just going to kind of take a hold of this halter knot, and I'm going to ask him to lower his head a little bit. Good. And then as I'm asking him to lower his head, or at least not raise his head, I'm going to ask him to back up. And I'd like his head to stay down. And then when I stop him, I'd like his head to stay down. Good. And then another thing that can be kind of hard for him is I'm going to ask him to kind of keep his head down, at least not bring it up. And I'm going to ask him to come forward. There you got it, a little bit of a bind right there. See? So I'm going to ask him for his head down, maybe not bring his head up, and ask him to come forward. That was a little bit better. Good. And that's just kind of me looking for some braces inside of him. kind of melting out some of that brace in his neck. The next thing I'm gonna do, and you guys have seen this before on my colt starting videos, is I'm gonna stand far enough back that I make a hole for his head to go. I don't wanna be standing right here because then he won't have any room for his head to go. And I'm gonna hold this rein in my right hand, and I'm gonna slide my left hand down this rein, and I'm gonna ask for a little bit of flexion. Now, he just saw my hand and brought his head in. That wasn't me asking for flexion. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna pick this right hand up, slide that left hand down, and I'm gonna close my fingers one at a time, and I'm gonna ask him for some lateral flexion. Good, very good. And what I love there is that I asked him for that flexion, and he didn't just yank his head away, right? And I asked him for that lateral flexion, and he didn't just collapse his neck. So he kind of waited a little bit for that feel. Good. And he followed that feel as opposed to just collapsing and being a rubberneck. Do that on both sides. Left hand up, right hand down, stand far enough back to make a hole for him. Close these fingers one at a time. There's a change. There's a change. There's his head. Good boy. He wants to walk off, that's fine. I'm gonna keep working this stirrup. Good. Come over here, work this stirrup. And I say work it, I guess that's just a cowboy term for flopping it around. In this instance, this is commotion. This isn't pressure. So if he were to speed up, then I'm just gonna keep working this stirrup until maybe he slows down, until maybe he stops. And then I'll drop that stirrup. Rock this saddle horn until his feet get wide, until he's in concrete. Short rein, handful of mane. Hike your pants up, put just the toe of your boot in there. Remember before I was talking about patting them on the butt, because you might goose them getting on them or getting off them. Bounce, step up, rub. Pat that offside. There he sees me in that right eye, that's good. Good. Attaboy. Anytime I do that, I'm just gonna walk him back off. I'm just gonna kind of reset him. Because if there's any fear in there, don't push me with your shoulders. If there's any fear in there, or any emotions or anxiety that needs to pop, then I'll pop it when I walk him off. Rinse and repeat, right? Put him in concrete. Short rein, handful of mane, toe in the stirrup. Now I'm gonna bounce, put my hip in that stirrup. And this is how I like to set on my horses. I like to be setting on my horses facing that way. What I don't like is I don't like to be hanging off the side of the horse where I'm facing that way, facing the barn, and torquing all of that weight on his withers. So I like to put my hip in this saddle, and I like to be facing this way. Now I'm gonna ask him for some lateral flexion. Good. Good. There's some lateral flexion. Nice step off. Rock this horn. Had a little bit of a drunk sailor legs there. Good. Handful of mane. Bounce, bounce. Step up. Asking for a little bit of left flexion there. Good. Rub, rub. Good. And then I'm going to set on him. Good. So this is my most fun time with horses. And I want you guys can't see him at the wrong angle, but I have a very short, loose left rein, okay? This left rein's very short. So if he gets a bit scowampus on me, got them black bombers flying around, them things will get you bucked off. If he gets scowampus on me, then I can have that short rein and I can just bend him around. Lots of petting on him. He wants to move, that's fine. He wants to break in half and run off, that ain't okay. But if he just wants to move and shift his weight, that's okay. Now I'm just gonna draw that left rein, get me a little bit of left flexion, add my left leg, so my left leg's bouncing on him, and I'm looking for his hips to move to my right just a little bit. Just like that. Just like that. And then lots of rubbing. Nice licking and chewing there. Good. Good. There's no reason to get on a horse and go and take off, you know, especially when you first get on them. I like to get on them and wait and do lots of petting and rubbing on them and working on the basics, man. That's what I want. I like to be able to draw that left rein back, give me some left flexion, left leg bounce a little bit, ask that horse for his hips. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'll take my rein, I'll pitch it over his head. You know, got him used to that stuff on the ground, right? Now I'm gonna work this right side of him. Just kind of draw his nose to my right leg back. This is his stiffer side, and it's a little bit stiffer on the under saddle also. He's a little bit boogered by it. I felt him get kind of tense right there going to the right, that he didn't have when he was going to the left. Rein angle. A lot of people want to pull up on that rein. When they're asking for that lateral flexion, they'll want to pull up on that rein. On these young guys, I like to come out. I like to come out to the side, and then I might come up. But I come out to the side, say just kind of follow that hand, and then I might bring my hand up and ask him for those hips. Good. Good. I like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him to at least shift his weight backwards, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rein, and I'm just going to kind of pick that rein straight up and just kind of bounce it. If he starts turning his head to the left, which means he's following the feel of the rein, then I can take my left hand and kind of, you know, maybe push his head straight or choke up a little bit more, get a little bit higher on his neck, kind of by his ears. And I might say, hey, can you back up a little bit? There, can you shift that weight back? Excellent. Excellent. Asking for his hips again. Good. Boy, I'm liking this. Now I'm gonna ride off. And I'm not gonna ride off into the sunset. I'm gonna walk over there. That's my goal. So I'm gonna just kind of open up that left hand, just kind of say, hey, let's float some rein out to the left. And I'm gonna bounce my legs off them. I don't like squeezing young horses because that can make them very claustrophobic. And the more you squeeze, it's just like a pimple. The more you squeeze, boy, it's gonna pop. And I don't want them to pop. So I'm just gonna kind of lead this rein out here like so. And I'm just gonna kind of bounce my legs off him. Just kind of bounce. I might even rock that saddle a little bit. Just kind of make some life and some commotion in my legs here. Soon as he offers to go forward, I say, attaboy. It's his first time doing this. He doesn't know what I'm asking. So if he just leans forward, I'm gonna say, hey, that's what I'm looking for. If he takes a step forward, I'm gonna say, hey, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just gonna kind of put some float in that rein, ask him to go forward. Attaboy. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. You know, I'd rather have 10 minutes of him taking a step and then 2 steps and then 3 steps as opposed to me asking him to go forward and he breaks in half and tries to jump over that fence with me. Good. I don't really care where he goes. You know, one thing that I'll try to not let him do is rub my leg up against that fence. Because he rubs my leg up against that fence, then my foot's gonna go into his side, and then he might not appreciate that. But I'm just gonna kind of be a passenger. Good. And what he's doing, you know, we take these horses when we're working with them and we tie them to the fence before we work with them. And then when we're done working with them, we tie him to the fence again. So that fence is a good spot. He's like, hey, take me to that fence. That's I know that fence. Good. 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 And what he's trying to do is he's trying to breathe. He's holding his breath right now. What I'd like him to do is breathe out. You know, if I could just kind of keep some life in his feet and have him breathe out at the walk, then that's a good day for me. Every time he goes to the fence, I'll just kind of turn him around and walk him off. Good. I'm just going to kind of turn him here and walk off. And I'm just kind of turn him here walk off. And I'll probably disappear from the camera. That's just the nature of the game here, the way things roll. Good. Good. There he goes. Now we're kind of exploring a little bit more. I might pick up on this rein here, ask him for a stop. If I pick up on the rein and the picking up of the rein don't stop him, then I'll bend him around. I'm just going to kind of pitch this rein over his head there. Now we'll work this right side. Kind of bring his nose out and around. Good. A little bit tighter. You know, just switching that rope and me asking him to bend to the right, he's a little bit tighter. Take his nose around, walk him off. Take that nose around, walk off. Good. You know, I'm having to work kind of hard on getting on keeping him to go forward. You know, that's all gonna fade away. You know, this is just the first daggum day. Good. Not looking for too much. Not asking for too much. Good boy. Good. He's starting to blink. You know, it's taking him a while, but he's starting to blink. Starting to loosen up a little bit here. Good. Good. Pick up on that rein. Ask him to back up from that rein. Good. All right. Pet him. Heck yeah. That's pretty good right there, bud. I don't want to overface him. It's hot as Hades out here. Don't want him to come out here and hate working and hate being rode. So I just slid my left foot out just so that my toe's in the stirrup. Took my right foot all the way out. When I step off, I'm going to grab a handful of mane along with a short left rein. Step off. All right, so that was a really good first ride. I'll just start building on that up to the walk, or excuse me, up to more of a consistent walk, and then more into the trot, and then to the canter. But for the first ride, he's completely unbothered. He's licking and chewing there. You know, he's sweaty, but we're both sweating. So that was a pretty good first ride. Nobody got hurt, nobody cried, and nobody died. So that's how I like it. All right, there you go.